Coming up on The Cody Willard Show, should we judge Trump by the company he keeps? Gerald Celente joins Cody to talk about when will the next crash come. Plus, they'll talk gold and Bitcoin. The Cody Willard Show is brought to you by TradingWithCody.com.
I am thrilled to bring on actually our first ever guest here on The Cody Willard Show, Gerald Celente. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, what a privilege it is to be on with you. I've always enjoyed, back in the old days, it was the best show I'd ever been on.
I just want to get the news of the day out of the way real quick. Manafort, Cohen, Trump associates, guilty, pleading guilty, found guilty, all in the span of about an hour yesterday afternoon. Markets haven't budged about it at all. What's your takeaway? Should we be concerned about the president himself being open to prosecution or something?
It's not going to affect the markets. It has nothing to do with it, and that's what the mainstream media keeps doing each day. They keep putting out a story, whether it's on tariffs or trade or North Korea, or whatever. That's not moving the markets. The markets are moving for other reasons, and it's earnings, cheap money, and tax cuts. That's about it, So
targeted tax cuts, of course. It's not across the board. Only the really rich and the corporations got the tax cuts. I think my taxes might be up this year.
Well, actually, according to the Tax Policy Center, 82% of the cuts went to that lovely 1%. The rest of us got peanuts. And when you look at the real inflation rate and earnings, what people are making, everything is down. But going back to, no, this isn't going to make a difference to the markets at all. And what gets me about it is how all these Democrats want to get rid of Trump. And, I'm like you, I'm a political atheist. I don't believe in any of this stuff. I don't take sides on any of it. They don't represent me. The Democrats and the Republicans, to me, they're the Bloods and the Crips, murderers and thieves. So,
we're on the same page with that.
I'm not making that up. I mean, on the thief end, how about making something up called too big to fail? It's anathema to capitalism, and capitalism is no such thing. It's the merger of state and corporate powers. When you have too big to fail, that's called fascism. And
is that not what we're doing now under Trump too, with too farming to fail or something? I mean, we got bailouts for farmers. We've got, but on that note, I just wanted to hit you mentioned before we got on there that you had read something I wrote yesterday on Trading with Cody about how I'm equally disdainful towards both Trump and Obama. And you said you are in the same camp, but I got a lot of angry responses from both Trump lovers and from Obama lovers saying, how dare I put that one in the camp of the other one? But whether, the wars are still going on. Our country is still bombing children in the Middle East on a daily basis. Guantanamo is still open. Whether it was Obama or Trump, these things are still happening. Bailouts, every emergency measure for the Federal Reserve that was created in that too big to fail environment that you mentioned, still in existence. What is the difference, Gerald, between Republicans and Democrats?
They're the Bloods and the Crips. They're murderers and thieves. You just got through with the murder part. I just got back from D.C. I was a speaker at Ron Paul's Peace and Prosperity Conference, and it's about anti-war, honor the founding fathers, no foreign entanglements. So going back to it, there's really no difference between either of them. Matter of fact, as I was mentioning, the Democrats can't wait to get rid of Trump. Oh, so they could bring in Pence. Wouldn't that be lovely? I mean, what a cat he is, He'll make you really great again. And again, you look at the Democrats and the hypocrisy. They just voted Trump's big budget for the defense, $716 billion. 41 Democratic senators voted for it. 7 voted against it. 139 in the House of Representatives voted for it. Only 49 voted against it. So there is no difference. It's only a different style. And the reason I like Trump so much, more than any of the other ones, is that he shows what a freak show it is. Obama was able to look into the camera with that arrogant attitude of his, and folks, and I'm doing this, folks. I'm going to close Guantanamo first day in office, folks. Yeah,
Gerald, on that note, it drives me crazy that again, it's the hypocrisy of a Democrat / liberal, which I'm not Republican or conservative. They're all hypocrites. But when a Democrat or liberal will somehow try to rationalize Obamacare and say, hey, at least Obama did something for the poor. No, Obamacare was $1 trillion giveaway to giant corporations. Every healthcare company that helped write that bill is up 500 or 1,000% in the last 8-9 years since they passed Obamacare. That was not for the poor. The bill itself was written by the corporations that profiteered on it.
Yeah. And it's the same thing when they talk about, Trump, and how about Obama's Libyan war? Wasn't that a beautiful one? How about Assad has to go? One after another. It killed 4,000 innocent people with drone strikes, and quoted in the book, Double Down, quote, I'm really good at killing people. So again, the hypocrisy, going back to what happened with Cohen and Manafort, wouldn't that be great to get rid of Trump and then you could bring in Pence? I mean, geez.
So, Gerald, this underscores what you and I are actually trying to get to here, and that is the economy and the stock market itself. And what would cause a crash? People are delusional, whether you're liberal and you think Democrats are on your side, or whether you're conservative and you think Republicans are on your side, or whether you think that the economy is sustainable at this rate. But then again, I don't think it's going to crash or go tomorrow. I'm always on the lookout for the next crash. But at this point, is it still bubble blowing bull market territory? What changes this economy and market? What's the catalyst, Gerald?
I think it has to be a wild card event. I'm in the same camp as you. We're hearing all these people coming out saying it's going to crash in 2020, going to crash in 2020. And it's too many people are saying it for that kind of thing to happen usually. But that doesn't mean it won't. But I believe it's going to be a wild card event. And the wild card event that I believe is going to be oil prices. And go back to the last recession and the one before, oil prices spiked just before the crash happens, or the big market decline. And with Trump's Iranian policy and the hatred that America is selling toward Iran, and the coalition of the killing that is the Saudis, the Israelis, and the United States going after Iran, if any kind of violence breaks out against Iran, watch oil prices spike to the $100 a barrel mark. Something like that, Cody, I believe will crash the markets around the world, and here's why, among other reasons. Or petrodollars, oil's based in dollars. You take a place like India, where they get 80% of their energy is imported. Where is the rupee now? Oh, it's down over 7% against the dollar this year. And how about all those other emerging market currencies that are crashing? Where they got the Turkish inflation rate now is what, 101%. Take a trip to Argentina, go around the world, South Africa, look at the emerging market currencies. So dollar-based. So something like oil could really crash the markets because, as we know, the markets in the United States are being pumped up by cheap money. You're looking at $1 trillion, according to the Goldman Sachs gang, of stock buybacks for 2018. And that's because of Trump's tax cuts that allowed them to repatriate all that money overseas. And most of it's going, and of course, the tax cuts.
Well, and Gerald, of course, it's also based on what Obama did with his tax policies and the 0% interest rates under every administration over the last 12, 13 years. It's all sort of a manipulated economy at this stage. People can call it mixed economy or something, but it is so controlled, very much socialist, very much towards the path of fascism as you and I define it, which is the original definition that government and business get married, get in the same business together. They are no longer separate entities or separated. And let's take this then away from the markets and necessarily, hey, when we don't know when it's going to crash. I do expect there will be another crash, at least one or two in my lifetime. Gerald, what about gold? What's your take on gold? Is that the one place that you think we need to keep buying? Real estate, gold? What are your places that you would maybe buy somewhere? put some of your
it
cash.
ties into it. And again, what will crash the markets? What brought the markets into correction territory back in February? Aggressive interest rate hikes. Let's tie it all together. Aggressive interest rate hikes, stronger dollar, got to pay more for all the commodities based in dollars. The markets, as you pointed out, they've been artificially blown up with things that they never taught us in Economics 101 or graduate school. And that is zero interest rate policy, negative interest rate policy in other countries around the world, and also quantitative easing. Never heard these words before. So as you pointed out, it's been going on since Obama, or actually under Bush with the bailouts that began, and continuing. So what will bring the markets down? The same thing that's bringing gold prices down. Higher interest rates. The stronger the dollar gets, the weaker gold gets. Our forecast, Cody, is that, and I don't give financial advice, only speaking for myself, first I'll say the forecast, we believe gold is at the bottom. Primarily because mining companies have stopped putting money into it right now. They're not making any dough. It costs on average about $1,200 an ounce to pull gold out of the ground. What's gold selling for now? Around $1,200. It went down a little lower into the 1180s. We believe it's at the bottom. I began my career as a trend forecaster. I was a chief government affairs specialist for the chemical industry back in, back in the, that's why I know
Don't admit to that, Gerald.
Yeah, there's a photo there of me and Ronald Reagan, 1976, 2 days before he's announcing that he's running for office. Anyway, I've been in D.C. enough and I've been around long enough. When Jimmy Carter came back from Iran and said the Shah was the island of stability in the Middle East, that's when I became a political atheist. I knew the thing was going to collapse. And I started trading gold and oil futures. And I did a $5,000 bet and I made almost $750,000. And that's when I quit my job. But I lost most of it too. I'm a young guy. I don't know what I'm doing, you know. But anyway, if I was gambling now, I'd be buying gold futures. I believe gold is at the bottom. I'm not giving financial advice, but to me, that's the bet.
Gerald, I don't like the idea of buying gold futures. I am an advocate of buying outright bullion and especially coins. That I've had coins stolen from me, so there is no perfect solution. But if there is another major economic financial crisis, those too big to fail banks that are going to be begging the government for bailouts again are not going to honor your gold futures contract.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about gambling. That's all I was just talking about in that end. You know, if you're a gambler, you're playing the markets, that's something you might want to consider. Look, I've been buying
on that gamble.
What?
What's your time frame for the gold futures gamble? If it's a shorter time frame, I'm totally on board.
I'd be going out and buying the farthest futures I could buy, whatever that is. And but on the other angle, I've been buying gold coins and gold, bars since 1978. So I'm a firm believer of buying gold, and so I buy the physical as well. And then again, in other ways that I can do it, in my IRA, I buy GLDs because of my retirement account. And that's the only way I could buy it. So I buy it like that too.
See, and I personally do occasionally trade the GLD. I think gold is also in the bottom of even a short-term trend. I wrote about this on Trading with Cody recently. I would be buying the GLD, if only for a trade. But I don't like the GLD for a long-term IRA holding, again, because I think when that next financial market crisis happens and the banks and the markets crash, gold's going through the roof, and I want my GLD redeemed. I don't trust the next financial crisis. I've seen how the banks didn't honor their contracts and then went and got the government to take care of them the last time. Last topic for you, Gerald, Bitcoin. If you can talk a little Bitcoin-ish, cryptocurrency, not necessarily just Bitcoin, but is there a future for crypto anti-fiat currencies, as I might call it?
Yes, we believe there is. And one of the reasons why is that the world is going cashless. And people aren't tied to their coin of the realm. as they used to be. No greater example than in China. People aren't using cash or credit cards, it's an app. So there's nothing there. And the reason why Bitcoin really took off was because of the alternative fiat currency. What's brought it down mostly are government actions to stop it from happening. Here's what we're looking at. When you see the majors getting into it, again, whether it's Goldman Sachs and others that are setting up trading desks and doing different things in cryptocurrencies, we believe it's going to stay when the establishment keeps getting into it. So does it have more of a downturn? I don't know. You know,
Do you own any cryptocurrencies at this point? Yeah.
Yes,
I've owned Bitcoin, believe it or not, for 5 years, since $100 or so. I've been selling it. I sold a bunch when it was above tens of thousands, when it was into the thousands of dollars. I even wrote a book, believe it or not, that was published the day that Bitcoin hit 20,000 bucks. My book was published, called The Great Cryptocurrency Crash. And I've been predicting that. But I also believe that there is a future for cryptocurrencies, because if you're in Argentina or Turkey, your currency is crashing constantly. Every developing nation is constantly struggling to maintain value of their fiat government issued currency. And if you live in any of those countries, you'll always trade your dinar for a dollar. And Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, that concept gives you an alternative to that. Do you just buy a basket of them at this point, or do you continue to buy them as they go down? I've actually just started nibbling some alternative currencies besides Bitcoin in the last 3 months, Gerald. And so I do believe there's some out there I want to start bidding. At the same time, I expect they're probably going to go down another 50 or 90%, and I'll be buying a little bit more all the way down. What's your take on actually buying them at this stage?
Well, you know, I don't know. I couldn't give a recommendation on it, but I agree with you in what you're saying. Again, before we were talking about the emerging market currencies. Look what's going on in Venezuela. Oh, that new currency, by the way, they just came out with. What do they call it? The Petro? It's a crypto. They just got rid of their bolivars. You know, they're in real trouble over there. But if you're living in Venezuela and you can't afford gold or anything else, are you going to buy a crypto or hold on to the worthless currencies? Look, there's a crisis going on. You mentioned in Argentina, where they have a 45% interest rate. I mean, that's off the charts. Again, look what's going on in Turkey, Indonesia, India. Name the country, watch your currencies decline. So yes, I believe there's a future in it. What to buy, I don't know. And again, going back to gold, I believe in holding gold as well. You know, the solid metal. I only do the ETFs because I'm an older cat and I got to put it into retirement account. So I got to put the money into that so I don't get taxed to death.
And Gerald, that is a great point, right? I mean, there are always these tax games that the government has created that you and I have to jump through the hoops. And it's yet another underscoring point of how there's an underlying demand for an alternative to a monopolistic government issued currency like we have in this country and most every other citizen of this planet has to deal with. Last word, Gerald.
I have a solution on how to change it, and it ties into cryptocurrencies. Blockchain democracy. Let's vote online. What, are we going to polling places? I mean, grow up. This was 1870s. I mean, what are we doing that for? We could vote online. You got blockchain, it's blocked. It's better than hanging chads. It's better than the BS crap that we have to put up with every time we go voting. If you got
But Gerald, it's so easy to go in and pull one of the levers. I'm liberal. I better pull the Democrat lever. Well, I'm conservative. I'll pull the Republican lever. I did my job. I'm a good citizen of this country. I'm a good patriot.
So with blockchain democracy, we the people vote on the major issues like they do in Switzerland. Haven't been in a war there since the 1850s. One of the richest countries in the world. Direct democracy, people vote. Little Paulie Ryan, Lindsay, did you come out of the closet yet? Graham, Nancy, out of her mind, Pelosi, Diane, not so Feinstein, little Chucky Schumer, don't represent me. I want direct democracy. Oh, the people are so stupid. How about the jerks that are running Congress? Are they dumber than you are? Direct democracy, blockchain democracy, the 21st century system for individual and state freedom. We, the people, tell the little boys and girls what to do rather than them telling us what to do.
Spoken like a true millennial. Oh, wait. Just a total honor and thrill to have you on with me. The Cody Willard Show. Thank you. Thanks, Gerald Celente, so much for joining us as our inaugural guest. I'm going to have to ask and beg him to come back much more often. Thanks so much, Gerald. We'll be right back, folks.
A former CNBC and Fox News anchor, hedge fund manager, and the go-to stock market guest for The Tonight Show, Cody Willard and his stock analysis have been published in the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, Fortune magazine, and many other places. Want to follow his secrets to investment success? Go to tradingwithcody.com. There you can get analysis on stocks, cryptos, markets, and the economy, a full list of Cody's positions, access to Cody's chat room, trade alerts every time Cody buys or sells, and much more. To find out more, go to tradingwithcody.com.
That was great. I got to thank Gerald Celente again. I got to thank Ross the Boss. I got to thank Chris McHugh. Peace, love, and happiness, people.